So Edmund, over to you. Okay, so Edmund is disconnected, so we'll give him 1 more minute to join back into the class. So welcome everyone. My name is Mildred, and I am your instructor for this course. So today we are going to look at file referencing. We are also going to look at hyperlinks and how to create links from one part of the page to another, or from one file to another file. We're going to look at the display property and how it affects how the elements are positioned on the page. And then we're also going to look at lists in HTML and CSS. So we have Edmund back, and I will let him take over the class.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. I apologize for the little network error I just had. Okay, so like Ms. Mildred mentioned, we will be focusing on the class lesson for this week, which is file referencing, hyperlink, and HTML lists. I am going to share my screen so we can have more clarity. Just give me a minute while I share my screen. Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so first we are going to focus on file referencing, and here I have created a structure for my project. So file referencing basically is a way we can use to locate files or folders in our project. Right here in my directory, in my root directory, I have the files that I've created. I've created folders, and I have files in these folders. Now, the root directory is named live class. This is the project folder where I would have all my files, all documents that are relative to this project. Now, under the root directory, which is the live class, I have a CSS folder, and then I also have images folder and my folder for pages, and also I have a script folder. Now I'll be making reference to files in these folders, and I would show you with some examples, and I'll also show you some complex examples as well. All right, so to start, I am currently on my index.html file, which is going to be my home page for this project. Now, I want to first of all create a link to my CSS. Now, I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this using the link tag. First of all, I don't have a CSS file right in this folder, but I'm going to create one now so you can see how to link the file directly on the parent directory, and also I'm going to link the file from the CSS folder. I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call this main.css. All right, now we have the index.html file on the root directory, and we also have the main.css. Now the CSS file is empty, but we'll write a code here just to illustrate this properly. But first, we want to link this to the CSS file in the root directory. And for that, I'm going to use the link tag. So I ID, which is atom, suggests the completion of the codes before I finalize it. So I would also explain each and every attributes in it, but I'll be using the shortcuts just to complete my codes for time's sake. Now the link tag is the element we use to link our files on the head area of our page. So I have here already a directory, but I won't be using this. Now, the href attributes is the attribute we use to set the path to the file that we want to reference. Now, I want to refer this link now to the main.css in the root directory. Now, to do that, I don't need to specify any folder because it's in the root directory. And I also have my index.html in the root directory as well. So this means they are both in the root directory and does not require any path through a folder. So to do that, I am just going to say main.css. Now, this is going to refer the main.css file I have here on the root directory. So if I apply styles to my CSS, it's going to affect the elements I apply the style to on this index.html. So I'm going to try that. And on the index.html, I have no elements yet on the body area. So let's create something. And yeah, I'm going to give a heading using the h1. And okay, let's say welcome. And software. Now we have a h1 header which says welcome to Square Program and Software Development. Now if I refresh this on my page here, we're going to see the heading that was created. Now let's try and apply a style to this heading. I'm just going to give a basic style. Now you would learn more about styling elements as we progress in the course. But for now, I just want to show you how you can reference a file and still have the style being affected on the page it's being referenced. Okay, so let's say color. I'm going to try to change the color of the, so let me use a brown color. And I want to use blue. Now, as you can see here, the style I added to the main.css being referenced from the index page, it's been affected on the heading as I assigned it to. So the elements h1 that I've applied the style to now is affecting the h1 heading here on the index.html because I have referenced it directly from using the link tag from the head area. Now this is how to reference a file in the same directory, specifically in the root directory as we have it here. I'm going to remove this style, but now I want you to see how we can also reference a file from a subdirectory. Now this next example, we're going to be referencing the file that I have created in the CSS folder. All right, so I will also do that using the link tag. Sorry, my shortcut seems not to be functioning. All right, so now pay attention to the attributes you are going to use in the link tag. Like I said, the href is the attributes we use to specify the paths to the directory we are referencing. So now we want this reference to go to locate the file in the CSS folder, and that which is style.css. That is the name of the file I have in my CSS folder. Now we're going to reference that file here. So I'm going to take this out. And to do that, now I am referencing this from the index, so I do not have to exit any folder. So I start with the CSS folder. Okay, now this is going to be CSS. With a forward slash, specifying that you're entering the CSS folder, and the next would be the file itself, which is style.css. So always remember to specify the file type. Now this is a CSS file, so I am adding the .css extension to it. If it's going to be a page, then we'll make sure we add the HTML. If HTML is the extension, the file type. Now I've specified that I want to locate the file style.css in the CSS folder. So I'm going to take this out so we don't have any conflicting stuff. And I would try and give a style here. Now I've used the comments on the style I created before now, but we're going to create just a simple basic style for us to easily understand this illustration. So this is my external file, this style.css, that I am going to write a style for. I'm going to do the same thing. First, I refresh this, and we say background color to be, this time let me use red. Using the semicolon to close the tag. So always pay attention to your syntax to check if it's written correctly. Now I'm going to return to my index.html to make sure everything is correct. And now we have the style that we have written in the style.css, applying directly to our h1 on our index.html. So these are just basic styles, but the focus here is you learning how you can reference files from one file to the reference another file from one file. And you can also reference several other files as well on this same index.html. Okay, now I'm going to show you how you can also create referencing, or okay, let's look at hyperlinks. So I'm going to show you how hyperlinks works. So hyperlinks are links that can help you to move from one page, from one section of your page to another, and also you can also use hyperlinks to move from one page to another page. Also, you can also do this for using the anchor tag instead of the link tag like we have used here. Here on the body of the index.html, we are using the anchor tag for that. And the elements is the anchor tag with the attributes href. So I'm going to write a content here that would allow us to see best how this is used. So for the body, I will use a p tag here, and we'll say click. Now I want to use the anchor tag that we'll be using as a hyperlink to the page we want to go to. So I will specify the anchor tag here. Now I want to take this link the anchor tag to link the page I have created in the pages folder, which is called list.html. So this is how I am going to do this. Now you can see here I have the anchor tag in the in the paragraph, not in the opening tag of the p element, but inside, in between the open tag and the close tag of the paragraph. That's the p tag. Now I want to use this creatively so you can see how effective hyperlinks are used. Now I'm going to specify here in the href, which is the attribute we use to set paths to any file, just like we did here on the link tag. So I want to reference the list.html, and we have the list.html file, which would be a page. We have it in the pages folder. Now to locate the list.html file, we do something similar like we did here on the CSS. So I'm going to specify that I am going to the pages folder. You check the name, make sure the name is exactly as you have named the folder. So the file should have the exact name when you are referencing it. So I'm going to the pages folder, and I want to locate the list.html. So this link will take me to the list.html page I have in the pages folder. And I'll complete this paragraph. So in the anchor, between the open tag, in the anchor tag, in the open tag of the anchor elements, I have the href attributes, as you can see here. And between the open tag and the close tag of the anchor elements, this is where I want to specify a text that the user would see. So I'm going to use this text as my link, which will be here. I'm going to use a small letter for this. So it will be click here to view our list of courses. Now I'm going to take out this style. I don't feel comfortable with it. It's just so we can have clear understanding of the page. Okay, so I've saved this and I refresh my page. Now I have the paragraph I've created, which holds the text that says click, and the link using the anchor tag, where it's the here later here representing the link to the page, the list page that I've referenced using the href attribute, which locates the list.html in the pages folder. Now, also it says, click here to view our list of courses. Now, what I have here is a link on the front end, but it's shown here as the here, which I have written in between the open tag and the close tag of the anchor element. Now, if I click this link, it's going to take me to the list page. Now, also, I can also set this to display the link to open at the desired window. For example, the default is going to be self. Now the attribute target is what we use to set where the page will be open. So in the target attributes, I have to specify if I want the page to be open at this current page we're on, or I want it to open on another tab. So I can use the blank for that. Okay, let's use the blank for that so we can see how this is going to display. Okay, so I refresh this now so it will be effective. Now if I click, I go next to the new tab where we can now find the list of items, which was meant to be the list of courses. So you can see here on the previous tab, I still have the home, the index, and the content on it. But because I have clicked the link and I have set it to display on another tab using the blank property, so it takes me to the new tab where I have the list. Now this content you're seeing here on the list page have been pre-written before this class. So this is the list.html. This is my list page. So I'm just showing you how you can use the anchor tag to go to another page. Now here we're going to also have different examples of file referencing, how to reference file from the list page coming out from the pages folder to reference files in the root directory. So let's start with the CSS first. Now on this page, we'll be styling this list items. So we want to create a link to the CSS where we are going to apply the styles. So to reference a file in the parent directory, we also use the link tag, and I'm going to specify. Now this is where you want to pay attention, because unlike the index.html where we referenced the CSS styles from the main directory and also the CSS style in the CSS folder, this is going to be different. So now this is how you reference a file from a subdirectory. You start with a double dot and / to signify that you are coming out from the pages folder. Now it doesn't really have to, you don't have to specify the name of the folder here. Just with the syntax, the system will understand that you're coming out from a folder, whichever folder you're on. And then now if this folder was to be in another folder, then I would also do the same thing. So to come out from any folder, you use the double dot and the /. Now I won't be using two here because I just have one folder to come out from. So this is going to take me out from the pages folder. Now I want to locate the style.css file. So I'm going to specify the folder I want to locate, which is the CSS folder, and also the file itself, which is style.css. So this is going to make sure that the style we give in the style.css would be effective on this page. All right. Now, next we want to have hyperlinks that we can use to navigate to different sections of a page. So the previous example we just saw was the hyperlink that can take us to another page from a particular page. So if you recall, I mentioned that when you give the path to the directory, you want to make sure that the style, the file you're heading to, the file you want to reference, you want to make sure that the the type of the file is being stated in the syntax, just like you can see here, list.html, which is the type of file that we are locating. Unlike here, we have in the link tag, we're locating the style.css. So I hope you are paying attention to this, because it can get a little bit confusing. Then move on to our list, where now we want to create a hyperlink that is going to take us to different sections of this page. Now on this page, I have a list that I have created. Now for lists, HTML lists, we have 3 types of HTML lists. And the first one we have here is the ordered list. I have already created this to make time to make sure that there isn't short of time. So now on the ordered list, I want to make sure that we're able to jump to a section. We're going to have sections in this list. So the ordered list here, we have 3 lists. Like I said, we have ordered list, unordered list, and definition list. So the ordered list is written as with the element OL, and has the li tag elements inside the ordered list, where you have the listed items. So here I have created items. We have item 1, 2, 3, which by default the list is for ordered list is numbered using the numeric number. Now we can change the type. I'm also going to show you how we can change the type of list numbering. Now we can use Roman numeral, and also we can use alphabet. I'm going to show that to you. And also for the unordered list, using the UL, which is the element for an ordered list, we also have items in the list tags. So you can see it's always the list tags inside. But to specify which type of list, we use the OL for ordered list and the UL for unordered list. I have items here also. I have item ABC, which I have created. And then also for the definition list basically is just a list that describes a particular term, right? So here we have DL specifying the lists. Sorry. Okay, so here we have DL specifying the definition list, and also we have DT for the term that we're going to be describing inside the list. So it's going to be listed with the term and then the description below. So DD for the description and DT for the description term. Now you can see how it's displayed here for the ordered list. By default, it's 1, 2, 3 for the numbering, and then for the unordered list, it's the black circle for the numbering, and then that's the bullets. And also, we don't have numbering here by default because of the type of list. Okay, so now to complete the lesson for the hyperlink, I'm going to create sections in this lists, different type of lists that we can jump to from the top of the page. Now on this page now, we are going to create sections in the H2 tags. Now I won't be creating a section here because this will be at the top of the page already. It's already at the top of the page. So to make sure we are able to jump to these pages, I am going to create an ID. I'm going to use the ID attribute to create an ID that I can jump to when I specify it in the anchor tag, just like we did for the index page, but there it will specify a different page entirely. So here, first I am going to create the anchor tags. Now, the first thing I want to do here to make sure this page is in order, I'm going to create a hyperlink that will take us back to the home page. So let's first of all create the one for the home page. Now the home page, as you can see here, the home page is in the root directory, which is the index.html. Like I said, this will be my home page. So I want to reference this address I want to set the path to locate the index.html file. So I'm going to do this now by specifying that I want to come out from this list, just like we did in the CSS for the link tag. Now I'm going to do the same thing, the double dots and the / to come out from the pages folder, and I want to locate the index.html. Now this is going to take us to the home. So between the open tag and the close tag of the anchor elements, I am going to give the text that you can see, that user can see and know that, okay, this is the location I'm heading to, which is the home. So I'm not writing the index.html here. I'm going to give it the home name. All right. Now this would take us to the home, and I also want to have another anchor tag that will take us to the different sections of this page. Now, what's the difference between the hyperlink that takes us to a different page and a hyperlink that takes us to a specific section of the page? So I'm meant to put this here. Okay, so the difference is, though I would create the ID, but this is the difference. You are not going to be locating a file. You're not going to be referencing a file, but what you'll be referencing here is the ID that you're going to give to that particular element you want to locate on the page. So this is not going to take us to a different page. It's going to take us to a particular section of this page with the ID that we're going to give to the elements. So here I'm going to also use the section as the ID on the element. So the name here will be section 1. Oh, okay, I'm going to use section 2. I'll use section 2 since the first list will be at section 1. Then also we're going to have another one. And I'll make sure that the user can see the name of this link, which is section 2, sorry. And the other link to take us to section 3 of the page. Okay. Now we're going to create the ID for these sections that we want to locate on the page. I'm going to do this on the open tag of the H2. So you give the ID using the ID attributes. Now please pay attention to the syntax. I am only using the shortcuts because of time. So pay attention to syntax so you can easily debug it if you have any error, or if you have it. Sometimes the shortcut gives you a pre-written syntax that you might not want to use. So try and understand it first before using the shortcuts. So the section here will be section 2. And for the last list, the section here will be section 3. Sorry, I haven't given my ID. All right. Now, before we see how this works on the page, I'm going to show you the different types as well, the different type of list numbering that we can have. Now, to specify the type, we do this on the open tag of the for ordered list. We do this on the open tag of the order OL elements, and we say type. Now you can see the IDE I'm using is already suggesting the different type of numbering that we can have. Now you can see here we can have the default numbering, which is the normal numbering, and then we can also have alphabetical numbering, the lowercase alphabetical numbering, uppercase alphabetical numbering, and lowercase Roman numerals, and also uppercase Roman numerals. So whichever one I choose here would be the numbering that we are going to find on the page. I'm going to use okay, let's use the Roman numeral. Okay, and also the type now for the unordered list, we can specify the type using the style attributes, and the style here will be the property will be the list style type. Now the list style type, now we have different types of for this we have different type. We have the disk, we have the square, and also we have circle. So let's first, now you can see that the black circle is what we have here, and also we have none too as well. So you can see the defaults already, but we're going to change that. So we specify here that we want to use the square.
Edmond, please, can you zoom in your screen?
Sorry?
Can you zoom the screen? Someone is asking on the chat for zoom so they can see clearly.
Oh, I think you can do that from your Zoom app. You can go to the screen. You see a square shape at the bottom right. I don't know if that's how it will be on your screen. You see a square shape at the bottom right, and you can zoom from your own Zoom screen.
Okay, yes, you can go to where you see you are viewing Edmond's screen, click on view options, and then currently it's on 82% on my system. You can put 100%, 150%, as much as you want it to be. All right, thank you for that, Edmond.
Okay, so if I zoom
Edmond, we can't hear you.
style tab is square, we are specifying for the unordered list. And for the, okay, all right, so I see that there isn't much time, so there are still much things that we have to learn. Now let's see how this displays on the web page, and then before we style it. So now you can see previously here we had 1, 2, 3 as the numbering, but now we have the Roman numeral, and we have the anchor tag for the hyperlink for the home page, which we specified here. I'm going to zoom out. Okay, so the first anchor tag here for the hyperlink is refers us to the home page. As you can see, we have it here first. Then also we have the section 2 and 3 of this page, which we specified on the list, displaying also at the top here. So before I show you this, before I show how this works, I am going to try and make sure that there's enough space on the page so we can see how it jumps to different section of the page. But for the type, you can see we now have the Roman numeral as numbering, and we know the bullet points here. We have the square shape for that. So this is how you can, and also before I complete this type, let me show you how you can change the numbering. Let's say I previously have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to save this first so you can see. So I've changed it back to the default. So I have 1, 2, 3 here. So let's say I have another list, still ordered list, but a different heading. But it's a continuation, maybe a different heading, but continuation of this same list. So to do that, I am going to use the start attributes to specify that. So the start attribute is start, just like the type. So I want to specify that I want to continue from where 3 ended and I want to continue from 4. If I save this and refresh the page, it's going to start counting 4, 5, 6. Now, pardon me, because of time, I can't create extra lists now, but I just want you to understand that you can do this with the start attributes to continue your numbering from another list, as long as it's the same ordered list and the same syntax. All right, now let's make this page look a little better by applying styles to our list. So I'll go back to our style, the CSS that we have referenced. So I've written some files here for the anchor tag. Now on the style sheet, on the style of the CSS, I have specified that I want this anchor tag, which is A, as you can see on the list, the element is A. So I want this anchor tag to have a display. Now the property here is I'm using is display. So block is a type of display. We also have other type of display. We have inline block. Now block is going to make sure that the items in the anchor tags are going to display in a block listing, in a block display. So it's not going to be inline just like this. So I want it to display in a block setting. So I also have a text decoration property, which would set that. Okay, I am going to show you other type of text decoration property, just so you understand how the text decoration property works. So text decoration property, basically for the anchor tag, is going to tell us if we want to have it underlined. Now, there are different properties that you can apply to the anchor tag or the hyperlink. So here it's already underlined by default, which is one of the property. But I want to make sure that I don't have that line written there. So it's by preference, this is how I want my hyperlink to display. I want it to not have any style. So I want the underline there to not display. Now I want to save this now and see how this style applies to our page. So you can see that the underline is no longer there, but we now have the sections displaying in a block display, unlike the previous display, which was inline. So the default display is usually inline, but I have set it to display in a block pattern. Now, this is for the home tag. Remember, this is for the home page. I want to test this to see that our referencing work properly for the hyperlink. Now I want to jump back to the home page. So let's see how this works. Now it has brought us back to the home page. Now on the home page, because I have styled the anchor tag, the A tag, which is also the same tag we use for our hyperlink on the home page to reference the list.html page. Now the style applied here because I have referenced both pages to have the same style, which is the style.css. Now, to make sure, this is where the previous lesson was about the areas we can apply styles. Now, to make sure that this style does not affect the general style I have on my style.css does not affect my index.html contents, the elements, I'm going to use an inline style for this anchor tag. And that's we use the style attributes. Sorry. Okay. Now in the pair of quotes, we're going to specify the property for the specific style for this anchor tag. And I want to set the display to be inline. Okay. So now you can see the style is different for the home page, but if I go back to the list, I still have it displaying in the block format here. So this is how you can control the style from each pages, either using the head, the embedded style, or the external style sheets, or the inline style. Now I want to make sure that these sections, now we can jump from one part of the page to another. So I'm going to apply a style to the sections. Now you don't have to worry about about the style here I am using. By the time you get to this part of the course, you would get clear understanding. So I want to make sure that the pages have spaces enough for me to jump to. Else we would not be able to see the effects of the hyperlink on this page without a section, enough space to jump to. So I'm going to save this and refresh my page. Now, I can explain this too, but you don't have to worry about understanding it for now. You will get clear understanding as you progress in the course. So I have set a margin for my sections, which will give more spaces between a space of 500 px between the lists. So if I refresh this, you're going to see more spaces on the page. Like I said, do not try to worry yourself about this. Just focus on the hyperlink, which is the focus for today. So now I want to jump to the sections. Now, first we have section 2 and we have section 3. Now I want to here, the hyperlink will take us to section 2, which is the unordered list, as you can see here. Now, ignore the style I've used. Let's say we have more down, take the next list down. So let's say we have more lists here now. This applies to that as well. So this, by just clicking on the hyperlink, it takes us to the next link, the next list that we have set the ID for. So I'll go back to the HTML list.html so you can see where we set this on the H2, which is the unordered list for section 2. So now that's why when I click the section 2 hyperlinks, it takes me to the unordered list. And if I also click the section 3, okay, now there's an error for our section 3. So let's debug and see what could be wrong with our hyperlink for section 3. Okay. Now I omitted the hash sign, which is supposed to specify that this is the section of the ID, that this is the ID that we are going to jump to. So if you have written an ID attribute, you've given an ID, like here we used section 3 as the ID, to specify as well in your CSS too, to specify that it's an ID. Is this ID you want to apply a style or you want to use the hyperlink to jump to? You have to make sure it's written first, which you have to make sure it starts with the hash sign, just like I did here for the section 2. So this is going to tell the system that you want to locate this set ID, which is section 3. So without the hash sign, that is what you get, the error I just had. So I'm going to refresh this. I will try again. Now you see it takes us to our section 3. There's no more space below the page. So it's why this section 3 now isn't at the top. But if I create more space below, then you see this at the top of the screen. So this is basically how you jump from one part of the page to another using the hyperlink. Now, this is going to take us to another page using the hyperlink as well. Now, my styles, which I have previously written, have been applied to the heading. So this is the front page of our project. So welcome to School of Programming and Software Development. I think I've covered enough and we're out of time. So if anyone has a question, please feel free to ask.
All right, thank you, Edmond. In the absence of questions, remember that you can book a one-on-one class with Edmond. Every student is entitled to 30-minute slots per week. You have to book at least subject to availability of time, not at the last minute before the submission of assignments. Assignments are due Sunday nights, midnight Atlantic Standard Time, which will fall at Monday morning for most of your time zones. If you have further problems, you can post in the group chat and an admin will answer your questions. All right.
Okay. I think Choma Igwe she's just raised her hand.
Okay. So
I think she has a question.
okay.
Hello. You can ask your question. Okay, maybe she's probably having network.
So Choma, you can post your question in the WhatsApp link if you are not able to resolve your mic issues, and then we will get back to you, or you can send a private message to any of the admins and you get the assistance that you need. All right. Recording will be available along with your tomorrow's week 4 content. And yeah, continue learning and hope you enjoy being with us. So thank you so much, Edmond, for your wonderful presentation. And thank you, everyone. Have a blessed weekend ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.